What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Dazzle video. Today we're going to go over a Dazzle mid gameplay, but not my gameplay. We're going to go over Heroic versus Gaimin Gladiators. Dazzle was picked as a mid. Starting from the drafting phase, I'll go over all the way to the end of the game and kind of point out what I see and what I also learned from this gameplay. Let's take a look at the draft. Dazzle is picked last. The higher rank you go, I think this matters a little bit more. There's just too many counters in the game right now. Dazzle is not the best against Muerta because she pops her ult and you do no damage. However, Dazzle is very good against Naga's illusions and Broodmother's spiderlings as soon as Dazzle gets a Ags and a shard. Although Monkey is a very strong hero, depending on how you play it, if he gets on top of you outside of his ult, you can always Hurricane Pike away. There's ways to control Monkey, but in the early game, he is a very strong hero. The thing that I would be worried about picking Dazzle into this lineup is the fact that there's Broodmother webs and Monkey who can jump around the trees with his new facet. If we get caught in a shrapnel, if we get caught in a Naga song, it's going to be very hard to disengage. There's probably going to be an early Orchid on Brood, and Monkey's going to pop his ult, stun. I really don't want to be out in the open against this lineup. It's probably going to be playing around our Timber, Visage, and our DK has to be pretty aggressive. I think he needs to blink stun somebody, make them react to DK so that there's one less hero that you have to worry about wrapping around and killing you in the back line. So I think in this game, this is looking like a BKB type of game. So you can fight through Muerta's ult and you can fight through Song, Net, and Man Up against Monkey. Celery on Gaimin Gladiators is one of the very few pros that I see consistently playing Dazzle with the Boon facet. So he's making it work in his play style. Celery has some great replays if you want to play with Boon. I recommend you checking them out. Monkey King is a fairly simple matchup. The thing about Monkey King is that he has very high starting armor. I think he has like 6 or 7 or something like that. And then he also has Jingu Mastery. He can lifesteal. And what's really annoying about Monkey King is that his attack range basically makes him a ranged hero. It's very hard to shadow wave him inside of a wave because he can hit it from far away enough that the shadow wave actually doesn't bounce to him. Getting into the laning stage here, we know it's against a Monkey King, and generally what you'll do right when you get into the lane is just right click them a couple times right away. And this is going to hit their creeps onto you, so you're pulling aggro. And what that does is it makes the lane push a little bit, and it helps you get level 2 early. Now, in this case, it's kind of unlucky or unfortunate that Monkey King got really good denies off. So the first wave, we only got one last hit, which is, speaking from experience, it feels really bad. But we're still going to get our level 2 quicker. And in the right, if you had gotten those first 3 or 2 last hits, you would have had level 2 right now. And this would have been a perfect time to pull the aggro onto these range creeps here and then threaten the Monkey King with your Poison Touch. So you would have had Poison Touch right here, and you would cast Poison Touch on him, right click, right click, right click, right click. He has to back up with maybe 70% HP, and he's going to miss one or both of these range creeps here. In this case, he got 3 really good denies off, and that's why we don't have the level advantage. That's why I don't really love these Iron Branch builds, because although you get your bottle really fast, you miss out on a little bit of damage in the early right clicks. And I know it's only like 4 damage that you're missing, but it could be the difference between getting a last hit and getting it denied. He's got 64 attack damage compared to our 58. So I know it sounds like a little bit, but every damage counts when you're playing core Dazzle, especially mid Dazzle, and you're trying to out right click somebody who has a little bit of a better attack animation. So that's what I'm taking away from this. There are some pros and cons to the all branches build. He's going to get his bottle at a great timing. He's going to get it at about 2 minutes, but he's going to miss out on this big timing spike at level 2 on this first wave. When you have a double wave, But I love how he sets up these last hits. So basically you're right clicking right before the right click lands. You'll shadow wave. So basically what you're getting is an 85 plus 62, which is 147 nuke, which guarantees the last hit. Another reason why Monkey King is very hard to play against in the lane 1v1 is the fact that he can dodge the damage of your Poison Bloom 4th hit with his Mischief. On this wave here at 119, this range creep is not on the high ground. At this position, if you did not have a ward on this high ground, you should not be able to see anything on the high ground. So by right clicking right here, that right click did reveal that you have a ward somewhere that has vision here. It's not really that bad because the ward could literally be anywhere along this whole cliff. It could even be as far back as like close to the tower and still have vision here. At this point, I want to start to introduce a concept that is going to keep going on throughout the entire game. Analog does not look at the other lanes. He's not interested at all in what's going on in the other lanes. He is focused on his own timings. So his bottle is coming. And basically until the first power rune, Dazzle and Monkey King are just getting one water rune each. And Dazzle is just really content as just getting the last hits, farming. He doesn't even go to this camp. He doesn't push the wave and go back to this camp. He just farms the wave. So right here, he's just threatening the use of his Q. Monkey King does not want to get poison touched at the beginning of the lane, right when the lane creeps meet, because then he's going to have to back up for 6 seconds, and then he's going to miss a bunch of last hits and not be able to deny any of the creeps. So he's staying back, I want to note 2 things. First, we moved out of the way because we know that Monkey King is probably going to Q this creep right there. And then you are now in charge of the lane. You have full control of the lane, so look to deny as many of the creeps as you can. There we go. So that's a free deny because we made him use his Q on an earlier creep. I love the positioning of Dazzle here. When you are against a melee hero, a lot of times you can do this. If you get the lane on your side of the cliff, you can stand between the creeps and the enemy. The only thing that they can do is nuke the creeps from far away, which is really annoying for them. They want to be standing right in the middle of the creep wave and just last hitting, denying, last hitting, denying, last hitting, denying. So as you can see, there's stuff happening over here. There's some weird stuff happening over here. It's not really a traditional like lane shape. You got their support or their carry over here. They got the support over here by the wave. Monkey's been missing for a little bit. He does not really care. If you play mid Dazzle, you are playing for your own timings. You do not care about what's going on in the side lanes at all. He never moves his camera. He never looks over here. And look at bottom, right? If I was playing Dazzle, I would make the mistake of going, oh my God, what's happening here? Let me look down here. Oh my God, he's about to die. Do I TP? And then once in a while I'll TP and then I'll just die. And then Monkey King gets ahead little by little. I miss my Ags timing. My Ags is delayed by 5 minutes. In that 5 minutes, they get another 1,000 gold lead in the net worth, and then they start snowballing that way. I also want to point out his skill build. He goes 302. I believe that there is still value in Shallow Grave for most of us. I think in a lot of pubs, it's a little more chaotic. So I would recommend getting a point in Grave, skipping the second point in Shadow Wave, and then maxing Shadow Wave. So because Monkey showed top, he's just pushing the wave as fast as he can. This is more of a team decision, of course, but they are going to use the 5-minute catapult to basically take this tower. So they're going to use the catapult. They're going to protect it with Enchantress creeps. So she's going to get 2 creeps, and they're just going to nuke this tower down. In a second here, I think he's actually going to look at the other lanes for the first time. So after he takes the tier 1 tower, that's the first time he considers anything other than his own lane. There we go. So at 6 minutes and 20 seconds, he looks bottom. That's the first time this whole game where he's looked at another lane. You don't have to do a bunch of extra stuff. You don't have to be shifting your camera and clicking the Broodmother every 5 seconds. You don't have to be clicking the portraits and making sure like, oh, this hero has boots, this hero has TP, this hero can come in, this hero can... All he does is focus on what's in front of him and does a great job of what's in front of him. Okay, so he looks bottom. This is kind of unfortunate. He gets denied. Super sad. Let's talk about his item build while he's dead here. His first items were brown boots into windlace, into arcane boots, into wand. And then, of course, the big item, the ags. So he queues up the ags after wand and starts farming for it. So basically how this game has gone and will go is he stays in his lane, gets his money last hits, levels, denies as he can, takes the tower, attempts to rotate, get a kill. That doesn't work out. He goes into farm mode, focusing on what you are trying to accomplish, which is not rotating around and moving around. It's getting your ags. So he basically moves to his triangle and starts farming. And he uses Poison Bloom to farm up Ancients, farm up this big camp, farm up the other set of Ancients, and gets his Ags. And what's really funny is, in a few minutes, there's going to be a team fight happening right in the triangle. And he's farming these Ancients, and he doesn't even look at the team fight. He just keeps farming. That's how focused that this guy is on getting his Ags. No matter what, just get your Ags. If you're playing mid Dazzle, get your Ags. So he pushes the mid wave, checks the power room at every 2 minutes, and then farms. Uses Poison Bloom to farms both camps at the same time. And then occasionally, when his own tier 1 tower is threatened, he'll come, he'll cast a few spells, and then he'll back away. Okay, we're back to the jungle. He checks the power rune, and it's just farm. His tier 2 is being threatened. So I guarantee that in a pub, in my own games, I would have made the mistake of TPing bottom. And I probably would have died. And it would have set my game back another 5 minutes. He's farming. So this is the team fight. So what he does is he casts one spell. And then the team fight is still going. And he doesn't care. He just goes right back to farming. He's just hitting Ancients the whole time. I find that funny. I would have put my camera here. I would have at least looked. But he doesn't even look. Cool guys don't look at explosions. He just keeps farming. And he's close. Basically at one more wave. And he has his Ags right at 15 minutes. Okay, so this is our first team fight. So he actually TPs into a team fight. The perfect grave. Now that is a great grave if I've ever seen one. He has a nice shield rune that he just picked up. And he is just going to be doing a lot more than he could have. I think DK does die. Yep. But he's a lot more useful. But before this, he would not have considered TPing. Now he considers TPing into fights. And he's ready to do stuff. Let's talk about his next item. He's going BKB. But right here, he decides that the game is snowballing a little bit too hard. He's not going to get BKB in time to have an impact before the game's going to end. So he basically switches gears here and goes for Shard next really quickly. And this is something that you can do as Dazzle if your game is going very poorly. You can get your shard as early as possible. Shard is one of the most value items in the game. If you're playing core Dazzle, you don't have to get shard because there are items like BKB, Ags, Octarine Core that just increase your output and damage and your survivability by so much that you just can't ignore it. But if you're playing support Dazzle or if you're playing core Dazzle and your game is just going really, really poorly, just get the shard. That's your number one contribution that you can have for very little money. And again, we're going to see him show up to this team fight. He's not going to do much, but look at this beautiful shallow grave. Just absolutely perfect. So he's kind of going into farm mode again, which means he's ignoring the team fights that are happening. He's not really looking at TP. There's stuff going on in his bottom tier 3, but he just looks, comes back, actually cuts a wave. He actually cuts 2 waves and then TPs right away. And you can see that he just got his shard. All right, now we're going to take a look at this team fight. First priority is always to take a look at, do we have any shallow grave targets? Right now, the main shallow grave target is Ench. At this point, our range of Shadow Wave is much bigger than our shallow grave. Because we have Ags, we can just click something. We can Shadow Wave something that's a lot closer to us. So any of these targets can get Shadow Waved, and the Shadow Wave is going to bounce, bang, 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 all the way to our Ench. Shadow Wave has a cool thing where it prioritizes your own allies that are being healed. So if it bounces and then it hits some of these spiders, it's not going to just die in the spiders because Shadow Wave does have a maximum unit count. I believe it's 8 or 10. It's actually going to bounce, 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 and then it's going to bounce to Ench no matter what, as long as she's in range. So we're probably going to look to lead with Shadow Wave and then click the grave on her once she comes into range. Naga this game on the other team played fantastic. She never wasted her illusions. She always used them as scouting tools in team fights. So she just ran her illusions in every direction and made sure her team knew where Dazzle was at all times. And in this game, this lineup is very annoying because of the positioning battle. Broodmother can jump around and walk around her webs and get you from the side or the back. Monkey King can jump in the trees and jump on top of you with his shard. We have Sniper Shrapnel and his ult that can hit you from really far away as long as he can see you. You have a lot of these very annoying vision spells. So we're looking for the nice Shadow Wave onto Ench, as well as killing these illusions that have just spawned. However, they get moved out of the way. And on top of that, the song allowed the Solar Crest to end, which also sucked. And this is just a really, 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 really good representation of how close these things can get. From my angle, it definitely looks like it could have clipped at least one of the spiders here. If we had gotten the poison touch on this Broodmother, oh man, we could have saved the Enchantress 100%. Another thing that's super close is Timbersaw. If Timbersaw moves right here, in between the DK and the Ench, all we had to do was Shadow Wave the DK, and then the Shadow Wave would have bounced to Timber and then hit Ench. But because the Timber chains this way into Broodmother, now the distance between DK and our Ench is too big and our Shadow Wave doesn't bounce anymore. So we Shadow Wave the DK. Unfortunately, it doesn't bounce. Oh, it's so close. And then Ench ends up dying to the lowest damage nuke in the team fight, which is Sniper's Shrapnel. Really, really sad. We definitely could have saved her with the Shadow Wave. We could have walked up and graved her right here. Now we have a few other jobs. So our first job is to zone the Sniper. Our eyes, while we zone the Sniper with our Shadow Wave, is looking here. This is the real team fight that's happening up top on this high ground. We are looking for the next setup for our Poison Touch. We're looking for that cone, that delicious ice cream cone, the super cone. And this is a beautiful Poison Touch cone because what we're going to be able to do here is Poison Touch into ult, into Shadow Wave, into ult again, into Shadow Wave, and we have a grave that's available in the meantime. So we turn our attention. We're looking to line it up. Oh, beautiful. Woo. Oh, that's so beautiful. So we end up killing both the Naga and the monkey. And Visage finishes off the monkey. So while we're finishing off the monkey here, our attention is immediately on our next shallow grave target. Our Visage right now has Vessel, and Muerta's walked up. What do we think is about to happen here? Muerta is probably going to try and just nuke this down as fast as she can. She might pop her ult and try to kill her, or she might just try and nuke her with her Q. We barely actually escape the calling. We don't get silenced. It's a great positioning on Dazzle's part right here. And we look to save the Visage. We turn quickly. And look at this, beautiful. I love it when we Shadow Wave first and then we get the shallow grave off. Because sometimes I worry that in that time between Shadow Waving and shallow graving, the Shadow Wave doesn't do enough heal and my ally dies in that meantime. But we get it off. Look at this beautiful shallow grave. Oh my God. Now, we're looking for our next Poison Touch. We can cast this Poison Touch 100% and hit the Muerta. It's a little risky because if we kind of walk to the right or walk to the left, maybe the Poison Touch will go this way and we'll miss the Muerta completely. That'll be a disaster. So in the meantime, what we can do is walk up here and cast it. It's better than missing completely. So this is more of a low risk play to walk up and to Poison Touch the Muerta. And here we go. But if this was a pub, I would 100% just stay back here, aim the Poison Touch against these creeps, and then we're going to easily nuke Muerta down. Again, I love it when the Shadow Wave hits and your teammates are right next to the opponents. I think an RE is going to finish Muerta off here. Oh, that's so beautiful. That's great. We ask ourselves, do we have any shallow grave targets? DK might be a shallow grave target, but Broodmother looks like she's going on me, so I will be looking to shallow grave myself. It's a 3-on-2, so this is a lot easier to keep track of because basically everyone that you need to be keeping track of is on your screen. Our job here is to bait the... Oh, by the way, look at this. We targeted Brood with our Poison Touch. Look how far Sniper is. Look at this distance. This is the cast range, the real cast range of Poison Touch if you have an initial target close by. So the Poison Touch right now is here, if you guys can see it. It's traveling towards Sniper, and it's actually going to hit Sniper, and it's going to help us live because Sniper's not going to be able to ult for another 2 seconds, 1.6 seconds. So Sniper's about to get hexed, and then we're basically just baiting the Brood. We're chasing her down. In the meantime, DK is going to get his stun back up. Boom. Stunned. Absolutely beautiful. And then here we go. The Assassinate comes out on us. Again, we bait it out. We grave. Oh, that's just beautiful execution. And now it's a 3-on-1. And Sniper has to run away. Oh, wow. Great team fight from this Dazzle. And now he gets a full creep wave coming bottom. He's going to get his BKB. So what the BKB allows you to do is fight through the song, fight through the net, fight through the silence, fight through the vessel, fight through shrapnel, and fight through the Gleipnir and the boundless strike. Now we have one of the last team fights. This might be actually the last team fight. So Muerta has Aegis. DK jumps the back line to try and distract the back line. Timber also jumps the back line. And basically here, I think he's worried about getting netted, getting put to sleep. So he pops his BKB And this is kind of where they lose here because they could not burst down the Muerta. Muerta still has Aegis, and our BKB is gone. So we're probably going to lose these racks. And I think we're ending up... This is probably the end of it. Because at this point in the game, we can't fight without BKB. We're just going to get... There's too many silences, controls. Here's the sleep. And actually, Celery does a good job. Naga does a good job of finding you. So he's looking for the Dazzle. He walks to the Dazzle. Makes sure that the Dazzle cannot grave. Because we used our BKB, we can't save our Visage. And becomes a 3v5. And then there's not much that we can do from there. But he still gets an amazing shallow grave. Oh, what a grave. He's also gonna cue the... he might die with the assassinate. Oh, he still survives with 40 HP. Oh. He gets spider nuked. And he can buy back, but the team decides to call it, so... Great try. If we take a look at the graphs here, Dazzle and Monkey, they kind of split the lane, but it was really the other lanes that got smashed. Here is the scoreboard. And then here's his skill build. He gets Shallow Grave at level 11. But there it is, guys. Hope you guys are having a great day. Hope you guys are enjoying TI. Hope you guys are enjoying Dota. Hope you guys are happy in life. And good luck in your next games as Dazzle.
Dazzle.